Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle one of IT's most persistent challenges, giving your users remote access to that good old-fashioned Office file share, but, and this is the key part, without the hassle of a VPN.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. For decades, right, the VPN has been the go-to solution. But let's be honest, as everything else moves to the cloud, your email, all your apps, firing up a full-blown network connection just for one file share, it just feels clunky, doesn't it? It's like a workaround from a different era. So, in this explainer, here's what we're going to cover. We'll break down why this is still a problem. We'll look at the really cool modern tech that solves it, run through exactly what you need to get it set up, take a high-level look at the configuration, and then, the best part, see it all in action. First up, let's talk about why this is even still a dilemma. I mean, for so many companies, that Windows file share is absolutely critical. It's the central hub for data. And despite all the talk about moving everything to the cloud, the reality for a lot of us is that these file shares, well, they're going to be sticking around for a long, long time. And you know, this side really highlights the disconnect, doesn't it? On one hand, you have modern cloud apps. You can get to them from anywhere, super simple. But then, to get to that one crucial file share, you have to stop, fire up a separate VPN connection. It effectively traps that data inside the old private network. And you definitely can't just open up the standard file sharing port, that's port 445, directly to the internet. I mean, that is a massive, well-known security risk. It's basically putting out a giant welcome mat for all sorts of unwelcome visitors online. Just don't do it. All right, so let's get to the solution. There is a technology that gives us a secure, modern gateway to that traditional file share. It's called SMB over QUIC. So here's the magic. It takes all your normal file sharing traffic and wraps it up inside a super secure, encrypted layer using TLS 1.3. That's the same modern encryption that protects your web browsing. You know, when you see that little padlock. So this makes it completely safe to send over the internet without ever exposing the raw file sharing protocol itself. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. You get that secure, authenticated tunnel just like a VPN, but, and this is the game changer, it's only for your file share traffic. And your users don't need a separate VPN client to install or manage. It's built right in. So this whole approach makes life way simpler for your remote users and boosts security with top-notch encryption. And you know what the best part is? For everybody working inside the office, absolutely nothing changes. They connect the exact same way they always have. It's a totally seamless experience for everyone. Okay, this all sounds pretty great, right? But what do you actually need to make it work? Let's run through the essentials. Now, the checklist is pretty specific, so you'll want to pay attention. You need modern operating systems on both ends, and for now, Windows 11 is the only supported client. You'll also need a trusted certificate to prove the server's identity. The server has to be able to talk to a domain controller, and you need one very specific firewall rule. Allow inbound traffic on UDP port 443. And yep, that's UDP, not the more common TCP, because it's a faster protocol that's perfect for this kind of secure tunneling. Okay, so how do you actually put this all together? Now don't worry, we're not going to get lost in a sea of PowerShell commands, but let's just walk through the key steps to get this configured. The whole process really boils down to 4 main stages. First, you have to establish the server's identity with that certificate. Second, you just flip the switch to turn the service on. Third, you set up this really cool secure authentication relay called the KDC proxy. And then finally, you just have to tell your client machines how to use it. So that KDC proxy, it's a really, really important piece of this puzzle. Think of it like a secure doorman for authentication. It safely handles Kerberos requests coming in from the internet and relays them to your internal domain controllers, which means you never, ever have to expose a domain controller directly. And that is key for keeping your network secure. Now, for this setup itself, you've got a couple of options. You can use the graphical Windows Admin Center, which gives you this nice, guided, wizard-like experience on Server 2022, or you can use PowerShell if you're into automation, or if you're setting this up on Server 2025. So, after all that back-end technical setup, what's the big payoff? What does the end user actually see? Well, the whole goal here is to make their experience completely seamless and totally secure. And honestly, the beautiful thing is, it just works. A remote user on Windows 11 can just open up File Explorer, type in the public name of the share, use their normal domain credentials, and boom, they're in. Exactly as if they were sitting in the office. No VPN, no extra clicks, nothing. And for all you admins out there, you can easily check that it's working the way it should. a quick netstock command will show you an active UDP connection on port 443. And a little pro tip, if you're on a newer version of Windows 11, you can even dive into the event viewer and look for event ID 30832. That's your golden ticket that confirms the QUIC transport was used. This kind of technology brings up a much bigger question. As more and more services like file sharing get their own secure direct access methods built right in, what does that really mean for the future of that traditional all-or-nothing corporate VPN? It really makes you wonder if we're seeing the beginning of a major shift in how we think about remote access.